Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Candidates 2026. We've made it. We've reached the end. We know who has won the open section. It was confirmed yesterday. Javokhir Sindarov, having led from basically start to finish, achieved it with a round to spare. However, there are three women who are competing to try and win the FIDE Candidates for 2026. Three of them. We start with the woman who has the least likely chance, and that is Ju Wenjun. She needs a win, and for both Bibisara and Vaishali Rameshbabu not to win. Both of them have to either draw or lose for Ju Wenjun to have a chance, and that chance is only on. She's playing Anna Musachuk with the black pieces. She's got the black pieces, and we get Alpin Sicilian. When Ju Wenjun elected to play c5, she would have hated this c3 move because it's just dead. Like, there's no way to really do much. And she has to play for a win. So she's either got to take a really obnoxious chance and play with a huge amount of risk, or she's just got to play a solid position. As you can see, she gets nothing out of the opening. She's got nothing. It is a very balanced position, not exactly symmetrical. There is a slight imbalance where there's a 3 versus 2 on the queen side and a 4 versus 3 on the king side. But there's nothing. Black is active. They do have activity, so she hasn't got exactly nothing. But where's the weaknesses? I mean, White's going to push here. Maybe they'll create a weakness. Maybe they'll weaken your structure. You still haven't castled. That'll come at some point. Bishop e3, now short castles. Rook to c1, rook to ac8, knight to a4. Now, look at this. We're putting pressure. You're not doing any pressure. Rook fd8, queen to b3, bishop to f4, rook fd1. And, we get a trade, and now we get c5. The bishop hits the queen drops back, takes, knight takes, rook takes, pawn takes, queen drops back, now we get to play rook to c1. White has a slight edge, but Anna Musachuk's not playing for a win. She's probably content to go home, we trade queens, sooner rather than later we continue to push pawns, and now we trade off the bishops, and the rooks look to infiltrate, we look to get the rooks in. Still, there's chances to be had, because now White's got a damaged structure, but they've got a 2-on-1 here. Maybe Black can still do something. Check. The Black King, the White King, where can they go? The White pieces are just all over the Black King. You've got to come out this way, but you're letting these get through, potentially. So you've got to defend accurately, so we give up the one pawn, we trade knights, but now we get here. And this is just a draw as they swap off pawns. And even though White has got this bad structure, Black can't break through. There's nothing you can do. And so they agree to a draw. Ju Wenjun is out of the running. And so now we move to the most entertaining game of the day. Bibisara Assaubayeva versus Divya Deshmukh. Divya, of course, is bottom of the standings. So she is only playing spoiler or trying to pick up, a victory in the final round of her inaugural candidates. And we get it's called the Tartakower attack, but it's like a Neo Benoni, because White hasn't played c4. But this is Benoni-esque, because we have d5 and now d6. Typically you would take here and then trade. So let's see how it goes. Bishop to g2, now g6, a4. Already very interesting opening idea, and you can see Bibisara has had to spend time. Bishop g7, now e4, short castles, knight to e2, knight bd7. For it to be a Benoni, you would kind of push this and take. So we shall see, but it's a very interesting setup. Black normally plays on this side. You try to open up this bishop, and you get your knights in the game. White's kind of plan is to be here, to be nice and solid, to develop, and eventually you can push down the king side, or you can exploit some weaknesses. So we get short castles, we get rook to b8. Now c4, so your hopes of playing b5 immediately are kind of thwarted, so you have to play a6. But now I play knight e to c3. Interesting idea to use this knight, but this knight perhaps wants to go this way or somewhere else. So we get queen to c7 and h3. White's better, just by the way. Bibi is playing in a very provocative manner. She wants a fight. She would like to win, because a win almost guarantees her the title, or at least playoffs, depending on Vaishali. Remember, Bibisara and Vaishali were half a point ahead of Ju Wenjun. They are tied on points. Whoever gets the better result wins the candidates. If they get the same result, we get tiebreaks tomorrow. bishop d7, now queen e2, and ladies and gentlemen, Bibisara gets her chance, because knight to f3, b6, h4, king h8 is an inaccuracy, and now white is better, only for a move, bishop h3, bishop c8, knight into b5, queen e7, and now rook a1. The inaccuracy, black is now fine, because they have this. Knight takes e4. A beautiful move that equalizes. The idea is if you take, there is bishop to b7, which hits the queen and hits the knight. So the queen would move, let's say to e1, and then now you can pick up the knight. So you can play like bishop takes here, hit the rook, this rook will move, let's say to c1 or whatever, and then this would be pretty good for the black pieces, if not winning this exact position. I might not have played it accurately. So, for this reason, we get bishop to g2. You now defend this knight. This knight is now hanging. So, we get bishop b7, which now defends the knight. Still the same idea. So, Bibisara is up a pawn. But now look at this. Knight takes e5. Same idea. Now, you have to be accurate. There is only one move here for black, and that is bishop takes knight. Because there would be bishop takes knight. And here, you don't necessarily have to trade. You can play something else. I believe the engine gave bishop a6 to get off of this diagonal and to now just threaten to take the knight. And then you've still got this bishop, which threatens this, has eyes on this, and the rook coming in, and the queen over there. So you've got, this is what the engine wants. Bibisara, though, goes for this. She thought, I'm losing the knight anyway, so I can give it away like this, and now there are tactics flying everywhere. But Divya Deshmukh is just completely winning. She might be down 35 minutes, she's just completely winning, because she finds rook d7, the only move, queen f6, and now she takes. Taking is the wrong move. The best move, and this is hard to play, is knight d6. Knight d6. Why? Because now you've got multiple threats to get in at the king, and this bishop's not going anywhere, or it's not going anywhere useful, because let's say takes, right? Let's say takes. You've got knight d f7 check, king g8, knight h6 check, and it's interesting because if you take here, you lose because queen takes h6 and mate is threatened, because if you block, you just lose, because it's like rook takes f7, queen takes f7, knight takes f7, takes here, and then at the end of it, both of your remaining pieces hang, and you're completely lost. Knight takes f2 is wrong, and then now rook takes is wrong. There is a moment here, Divya can escape, knight takes e5. The full sacrifice of the queen, because queen takes e5, well, not takes, and now you're not going to win this position as white, because we come back, the rook defends the knight, and so now we get into this position where they trade off a few pieces, check, 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 and Bibisara Assaubayeva escapes with a draw after she was dead lost. And so we go to Vaishali Rameshbabu versus Kateryna Lagno. Now Vaishali would have known what was going on the other board. She would have seen what was going on. If she wins this, she wins the FIDE Candidates for 2026. Some of you may already know the result. Some of you might know we're going to tie breaks tomorrow, or we're not. She's got the white pieces. We get a Sicilian defense, but she does not play the Alpen. She plays the open Sicilian. We get d6, d4, takes, knight to f6, knight here, and we get g6. We get the dragon variation. It's also interesting being Kateryna Lagno because you can't win, but you can stop someone else winning. So let's see. So we get bishop e3, bishop g7, now f3, short castles, queen d2, knight c6, long castles. Typical dragon stuff here. Now d5, now we take, and we play bishop c4. I love this move. Because the idea is you can't take, right? Because you lose the rook. Because takes. We do everything here. It's check, come back, and this is completely winning for white. So bishop c4. E6 is what's played. So now we get bishop to b3. Bishop e6 is what's played instead of c6. E6 should have been played. So takes, now knight takes, bishop takes, And now rook slides over, not continuing to trade off everything. You want to keep chances, and this is a very well-timed move. So we get the bishop dropping back. It interposes. And now we're just probably heading for equality, although white's a little bit better because Vaishali's up a pawn. Count them. We got 3v1 here, and we got 3v4 there. So she's up a pawn. We get a queen of c8, king b1. Kateryna Lagno's only chance is counterplay. Takes, pawn takes, and now a5. This is her only hope. Like getting enough play on the king. That is it. That's what she's got to hope for. We get a bishop to d4, now e5, but I just drop back. And now whenever you move this pawn, I snap off the bishop. The more pieces I trade off, Vaishali either draws and we go to playoffs, or she wins. She's up a pawn. So, we get a4, b takes a4. Now queen infiltrates to c4. I just play b3. In the endgame, I've got a 3 on nothing, by the way. A 3 on nothing. You're not stopping me. You've sacked 2 pawns. You are hoping for some decisive attack here. So we get 1 pawn back. Queen takes a4. But I play rook he1. Now you can play rook b5. I play rook e4. Kick the queen out. Offer a queen trade. Queen trade is winning for Vaishali. Queen c7. Queen d3. Queen b6. Now bishop drops back to b2. Now rook a5. Bishop c3, rook a6. Queen e3. She's always +1. Always. Now that is mostly to do with the fact that the pawn is up, but she's got a better position. Where is the knockout? Where is the win? How do we transition this into a winning game? We get the rook to c4. The queen continues to get kicked around. We go queen e4. We're now blockading everything. Now the rooks are threatening to infiltrate, but the bishop is covering. The only time the bishop doesn't cover is if this gets traded. So you've got to be careful how you do this. So we play rook c5. Now h5, and Vaishali goes for g4. Inaccuracy, but she's still winning. Takes, takes. Now king h7. Now I play rook cd5. You go here, and now I drop back to b2, not out the way of the queen, and you go for rook a2. There it is. Queen f6 is the move that the engine wanted to hold. It liked queen f6 because it thought rook d7. Now looking to create tactics, potentially, it thought you can just play rook 6 a7, and now g5 is what would have got played, an intermezzo hitting the queen, because then if you take my rook, I take your queen, you can take my rook with check, and there's probably a way we get out, or even, just rook takes, and something of the like. So there would have been queen g5, rook takes f7, rook takes f7, queen takes a8. Would have been this nice little sequence, and this would have been fine-ish for black, because there's queen h5 at the end of the line, looking to pick up some stuff. So rook e1, queen h4, rook g1, and so on. There would have been play from this. Unfortunately, rook a2 is played, and now we get g5 all the same. And the difference is the queen has not come here. The queen can't take. So now I can sneak in to the king and to the back rank. And all of a sudden, Vaishali Rameshbabu is about to win the candidates. She plays queen h4 check. King goes to g8. Queen e4. Queen b6 was necessary to defend to d8, but is now completely winning. She goes for one final tactic, where if you take, you get mated. Rook 8 a4, but check. King slides over, and now c4. I get in the way, and why that is important is because if you take and you threaten mate in 1, I mate you first. So rook takes c4, queen takes c4, we take, and now we get this check, the discover check. King slides over to b1. Provided that she does not blunder anything, Vaishali Rameshbabu is going to win the FIDE candidates. Queen f2. Just do not blunder mate in 1. The bishop is staring down this whole diagonal. If you can sack the rook for the bishop, you do it. Rook drops back to d2. Now queen f5, threatening a discovery, but I go for queen trade. You can't trade queens. You really can't. The pawn is coming down. Queen g2 is played. And Kateryna Lagno extends her hand. She resigns on move 48. And Vaishali Rameshbabu is the FIDE candidates winner in the women's section for 2026. She has earned the right to play Ju Wenjun for the World Championship. There were 2 decisive results in the open section. Wei and Sindarov made a draw. They were the first game to finish. Anish Giri played Matthias Bubom. Irrelevant to the overall standings, but Anish did finish the tournament very nicely indeed with the black pieces. Bubom went for quite an aggressive counterattack, but Long Castles kind of dropped off everything as they attacked each other relentlessly. I was not expecting this on the final day. But yeah, unfortunately, he blundered early on, and then Anish Giri managed to transition into an endgame where he was up a bishop, and he found a nice tactic to finish it off. Hikaru Nakamura and Pragnananda Rameshbabu made a draw, and then Fabiano Caruana finished the tournament in style. He played a Sicilian, he played a Knight of Sicilian, and he got a very nice position. It was a fighting game as well. Didn't expect this in the last round of the candidates, particularly when all the standings were done. But look at this. This is a very Sicilian idea to sacrifice the rook for the knight to open up the king. And now we get all the lovely play that Fabi gets. And g4 was wrong from Esipenko, as Fabi now able to transition very nicely into the game. Down a rook, but it doesn't always matter, as he safeguards his king. And his, Esipenko's just got nothing, and he able to line everything up on the c-file, activate the knights, activate the rook, get all the pieces involved, even though he's... Look at this, even marching his king all the way out, he safeguards it, gives a check, and then moves the knight out the way, plus 86, move 40, Esipenko resigned. And so, yeah, it was an amazing candidates, but we know who will challenge for the respective world championships. It will be Javokhir Sindarov versus Gukesh Damaraju, and it will be Vaishali Rameshbabu versus Ju Wenjun. Absolutely crazy turn of events. Bibisara finishes second, Zujena finishes third. Wild turn of events. We will have a full recap on the channel tomorrow, but what a final day it was. It was enthralling. Bibisara looked like she was winning just before she blundered that knight takes f2, and then she was completely lost. She managed to get a draw, so she would have been looking on, hoping Vaishali blundered something and blundered a perpetual or something against Kateryna Lagno. It was not to be. Vaishali Rameshbabu, the FIDE Candidates champion for the women's section 2026. What a final day. And then the open section, 2 banger games from Anish Giri and Fabiano Caruana. To finish off the tournament really strong for both of those players. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the series. I hope you enjoyed the candidates. Let me know if you didn't, or let me know if you did in the comments down below.